And today in our culture, we actually got into the meat of what we're going to talk about. But in our culture, for the most part, we think of the cross. We put them on tattoos, and we put them on our necklaces, because for us as followers of Jesus, we look at them as symbols of hope, as symbols of deliverance. We think about old songs like The Old Rugged Cross, and how there's so much hope that's offered because of that sacrifice. But understand, we have 2,000 years of context of understanding that. When Jesus spoke those words, his disciples didn't know any of this. The disciples didn't know about Jesus' impending death necessarily. They definitely didn't know about his resurrection. All they knew about the cross was that it was a cruel, torturing device that the Romans were used because they were experts at torture. And so when we hear the words, deny yourself and take up your cross, we think, oh yeah, we want to be like Jesus. But for them, they didn't know that's what was coming. So when they said those words, there was with a heaviness to those words. Wait a minute, Jesus, what are you talking about? That we have to first deny ourselves, which seems like a whole lot to me. But now I have to be willing to endure this infliction of pain? Like Jesus, that's a lot. It wasn't for them a symbol of hope yet. It was a symbol of cruel torture. So Jesus, what do you mean that I have to be willing to do this? That I have to be willing to take up the cross? Because for all of us, part of that gravitational pull towards selfishness is because we like comfort. How many people like to be comfortable? How many people I go into my house and it's like 98 degrees outside, and I love having air conditioning. I like to be comfortable. I don't think there's anything wrong with being comfortable. But when comfort is our motivation, our calling suffers. When comfort is our motivation, our calling suffers. If all we're concerned with in life is being comfortable, well, then our calling at some point starts to suffer. I thought about that in light of the protests taking place yesterday. Like I looked at that, and probably like you, like I got a righteous anger. I said, man, our society isn't supposed to be like this. This isn't what we're supposed to stand for. And the crazy thing is, from what I've heard, there were a lot of Christians that are part of the protest taking place. I said, man, that's just not what we're supposed to be about. And I sat there and said, but what can we do? See, we like comfort. We like to sit there and say, well, it's not my responsibility. Let me go sit back in my car with my nice cool AC and enjoy this moment, which I understand. And there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But when comfort is our primary motivation, our calling suffers. So Jesus